Afternoon, Shawn here with Accelerators Organization, ready for another mentor session. As a reminder, we will send you on our Accelerators application, mobile application, this video. And pretty soon you're going to be able to find these videos by mentor sessions and weekly Zooms within the mobile app. That feature is being built right now. Get in there, ask questions. Our mentors are wanting more and more questions from you. Try to think about what stage of business you're in, whether it's stage 1, which is 0 to 100,000, stage 2, which is 100 to 250,000, stage 3, which is 250 to 500, and stage 4, which is 500 to 1 million. Each one of those stages carries different things that you are going to be focusing on in order to grow and scale your business, okay? And in the beginning, if you'll watch the previous Zoom I did, the number one thing from 0 to 100 is to focus on developing your business model and foundation for that business model so that you can begin duplicating and scaling that business model, okay? Here are some questions that have come in, and I will get started now. The first question comes from Lysandra, and Lysandra says, what are strategies for combating budget objections from clients and better conveying the value of my product? The background is I have a baking business and specialize in custom cakes and dessert tables. When customers inquire about cakes, I give them price quotes and design options, good, better, or best. Even with that, they often feel the cakes are too expensive or didn't know the cake design they originally inquired about would cost as much as I'm quoting. Okay, this is fantastic. I've got about 7 or 8 different mentors answering this one for you, Lysandra. Now listen, the bottom line is the price is what the price is. And I think it's great that you're putting together a good, better, and best option for them to choose from. I also think it would be great to understand, which you probably do, and you could put together a price grid around this of what just regular cakes at grocery stores and things like that cost. And that way, when they have price objections, you could always come back and say, hey, listen, my pricing is for a homemade, from scratch cake and icing and decoration. This is not what you get at a grocery store or something like that, okay? There is going to be a time labor difference of skill that it takes to do this, as well as a difference in ingredient costs. At the end of the day, if I can help you with getting a custom, homemade, from scratch, decorative cake, fantastic. If not, I'm more than happy to point you in the right direction of which stores here in town do offer the best pre-mixed, regular type of stuff that you can get that doesn't use high quality ingredients. And on a scale where my products are going to be on a flavor profile of a 10, those are going to be at a 6. And if that's just what your budget gets you, that's what your budget gets you. But I want to work with you to get you the best quality and be able to be, compensated for the time and material that I use in the cakes. During your presentation, one of the things you can do to build up value so that when you do hit your cost is to begin using terms luxurious, mouth-watering, savory, scrumptious, delicious, all kinds of words that convey homemade, from scratch, high-quality ingredients, TLC, all those types of things that they know that they're not going to get from the bakery counter at the local grocery store, right? And so and plus you got delivery or pickup, all that extra stuff that's going to be needed to personalize this. This is a true experience, not just buying a cake, right? We want to separate it from commodity, which is buying a cake over the counter at a grocery store, to luxury, experience-driven process that they're going to remember and always want to get on special occasions, right? If we begin to use those kind of words, that will help. Now, in your sales process, if you watch the sales Zoom that I just did this last week, I talked about we want to get leads into our funnel, but the number one thing we have to do as we go down the funnel is we first have to qualify the lead into a qualified prospect. And part of the qualification process should be so that you don't waste all your time and energy on the rest of the presentation and proposal and all that, is what kind of budget do you have for a cake? At the grocery store, the cake is for an off the shelf where they use pre-made mixes and not so high level ingredients. The cost for a cake off the shelf at a grocery store is going to cost you $25, $40, whatever it might be. So the range of a custom cake is going to be for store-bought, low quality, not taste that great, $40 to the very high end of $300. So you're probably looking at in the store-bought 40, but in the custom luxury ingredients, high quality ingredients from scratch, handmade, you're probably talking from 120 to 300. Is your budget somewhere in the 120 to 300, or is your budget $40? If they immediately tell you that their budget is $40, say, hey, listen, fantastic. Here are some local grocery stores that I would recommend. Obviously, it's not going to be as gourmet, mouth-watering, experience-driven tasting like our cakes are going to be, but at least you can get something within your budget. That's where I would start off. If they then say, yes, I have a budget of the 120 to 300, then you know they're a qualified prospect. And when you hit them with your good, better, best, the good might be 120 and they may choose that and you still make profit, or you may be able to talk them into the $200, $250, $300 price range. We want to make sure as professional sales people that we qualify our prospects before taking them down to the funnel where we're going to present our products and then finally hit them with the price and they go, oh, I can't afford that. I was thinking it was going to be $40. And you just wasted all this time and energy. You were thinking that you had a potential sale when in the very beginning, if you had simply asked the question of what their budget was and educated them on the price range of store-bought versus your 3-tier pricing, you would be able to already know if that person had the budget to buy one of your cakes. Okay, so that's what I would do as part of my sales process is I would make it so by the time I present them with the 3-tier pricing, I've already confirmed in the discovery or qualifying process that they had a budget of a minimum of 120. So when I hit it with them, I know that it's going to be a no-brainer for them when I say, okay, now that we've gone through all the flavor profiles, the layers, everything, here are the 3 options: 120, 180, 300, 120, 200, 300. Which one will work best for you? I want to just make it easy, like it's an assumed sale. Which option would you like? Because if they say, oh, well, I don't know if I have the budget, blah, blah, blah. I told you it was going to be the 120 when we first started. I can't go under that because that's the minimum that it takes for the time and the materials the ingredients to do this. What if was 120 not in your budget and you can start having, or what if I offered you a payment plan and it was $60 this month and $60 next month? See what you can do to overcome it that way. Okay. Those are just some initial ideas off the top of my head. I hope that helps. Okay. The next question comes from Lysandra. And Lysandra says, how can I be more organized in and with my business, especially when managing different orders and client projects such as wedding and large parties, as well as business documents, content, tax, etc.? Okay, the background is I have a baking business specialized in custom cakes and desserts. There are a variety of orders, contacts, and documents that I need to keep and stay organized to save time and stay on top of each order. Okay, I've got about 7 different mentors answering this one for you. Okay, so to wrap up all of the different time management that you need for projects, there are different softwares out there for project management. Personally, I have heard and I have used a project management software called Monday.com. Now, I know it's hard and difficult and arduous to try to learn a new software, especially with all the other things you have to learn in your business. But hey, welcome to being a business owner. By working with a project management software like Monday, you can always keep up to date for every single project that you have going on, what needs to be done to move that project forward. And you can look at it on your computer screen like a dashboard. Show me where all my projects are at purchasing of ingredients, going into to the actual making, to the delivery, to all the different stages of your process. You can input in there and keep up management of all of your different projects. The next thing you can do as far as managing your time is you can do what's called time blocking. And I talked about this. Did I talk about this? Yes, I did talk about this on one of the last Zooms that I did that should have gone into the sales weekly Zoom. It was from the 2020. It was yesterday. So it was the 30th. 31st? It was the 31st of January. And I talk about using color codes in my calendar, whether you're using Google Calendar or Microsoft Outlook or something. Start using time blocking and saying, during these times, I am only going to do these certain activities and I'm going to stay focused and disciplined to those time blocks. And that can help with managing. A lot of times we end up allowing ourselves to be distracted because we're not disciplined. And what could be an hour of disciplined administrative duty times on something ends up taking us 2 hours because we get distracted with other little things that happen. And it just leads to inefficiency and lack of productivity. So time blocking can really help in your management of your time as well. All right. I hope that helps. Okay. The next question comes from Rowett, and Rowett says, what's the best way to track losses? Shopify only tracks profits. We sometimes do giveaways or do promotions on skip the dishes, and we haven't actually tracked the losses. Well, the only thing I can think of is make sure that you are integrating your Shopify account with QuickBooks, and QuickBooks can then allow you to bring in all of your income and all of your expenses in order to determine what your net profit and loss was each and every month. All right. Hope that helps. QuickBooks and Shopify. That's what you need. Okay, the next question comes from Cherie, and Cherie says, let me put my glasses on. Cherie says, is it appropriate to ask a client to sign a service agreement after you've started working together? The background is I have a self-publishing services business. When I started, I didn't have contracts that spelled out terms, dates of service, etc. Unfortunately, I have a few clients who started when I wasn't using contracts, yet they are still trying to finish their manuscripts 2 years later, ! I want to introduce limits and add a monthly fee if they extend beyond the contractual deadline. Is there a way to retroactively introduce terms and conditions? Okay, I'm the only one answering this one for you, Cherie, and I think that this is a maybe answer. It's a maybe. You can do whatever you can try to do to negotiate with your clients, but the fact that you didn't know to build these things in initially, it's like you're going back in and trying to negotiate again. And it's only reasonable to think that your client is going to say, well, I didn't realize that this was the way it's going to be. You never told me this. And the reality is that's your fault. And you may just end up having to work with these existing clients however it is that it's going to be, because it's your business. You didn't set the tone. And so you ask, is it appropriate? Well, your client's going to be the one to tell you whether it's appropriate or not. So you might get one client that says, screw you. And you might get another that says, hey, absolutely. So the only thing I can recommend is to just have a conversation with each and every client. Let them know that this was the way it was supposed to be. And you don't normally do contracts, but this thing is really extending and you're putting more time in this than you should be. And you'd like to find a solution, for going forward. And then you're going to have to just gauge their emotional response to you coming in after the fact and saying, hey, I know I told you this, but I thought it was going to be this. I was wrong. And now I want you to pay more or do something. This is kind of the mistakes of small business owners, that when they just wing it and they don't have mentors and coaches to help them know that they should have all these terms outlined in their contract, this is the type of stuff that can happen. So appropriate depends on the client. All right. Let us know how that goes for sure. Okay. The next question comes from Billy. And Billy says, when do you know you are ready to hire others? The background is construction companies sometimes slow during winter, but picks up for a good 7 months overall. Okay, Billy, first off, it would be great if you would give more information in the background of your company. Remember, myself and the other mentors don't really know your business extremely well yet. So the more information you can give, the better. Okay, but I'm going to try on this one because this is a relatively simple yet complex question. When do you know you're ready to hire others? And I've got about 10 other mentors answering this. Well, you're ready to hire other people when either A, you're emotionally tired of doing things that you would rather delegate, whether you have the money or not. And then the other thing is when you have no more time to get anything else done in a day, but you still have demands placed on your time and you need more hours in the day. And that's the when it's time to hire. I mean, basically, that's kind of the initial cycle for a bootstrapping entrepreneur, is to hire people as fast as possible that will allow you to increase your sales revenues, right? That's the whole reason we get into business. If we start with the end in mind, that we're looking to build a business and be an entrepreneur in order to create time and financial independence in our life, then we know that we're going to need to be doing millions of dollars of revenue in order to facilitate that. And the only way we're going to be able to do millions and millions of dollars of revenue is if we have a team. We have to build our scalable system in the very beginning that we can then start adding administrative and operational people as we grow our sales. But we always want to make sure that we're leading with sales. Sales drives everything else. The more sales you make, the more cash flow you create, the more you can hire more people. And us as CEOs and business owners, our job is to manage that process from sales to manufacturing to make sure that there's a good profit from the difference of the two. Sales is income, right? Operations is expense. We want to have something left over when we take money from our sales to pay off the expenses. And it's our job to manage that and facilitate that process. So the answer to your question is, when is it appropriate? As soon as possible, as soon as cash flow allows for it, or anticipated cash flow when you can float it allows for it. Hope that helps. Okay, the next question comes from Billy. And Billy says, tips on SEO, question mark. How important or not has SEO been for your business? The background, construction company. Once again, Mr. Man of Few Words, can you please give the mentors a little bit more information about your business as opposed to just saying construction company? All right. Also, if you're considering SEO in the background of your question, you could say, I'm looking for a way to generate new leads. I've currently been doing this, and this. This has worked. This hasn't worked. I've thought about doing SEO, but blah, blah, blah. Give us some more background. You can't just simply be a Neanderthal man and say, construction company, give me help. Be a little bit better than that, okay? All right. So to answer your question, I have used CEO one time for AO. I spent about $40,000, $50,000 on some advertising and on SEO with an agency last year for 6 months. I got zero sales. SEO did absolutely nothing for Accelerator's organization, even though the person that I hired said, there's all these people doing searches for finding a mentor and getting a business mentor and blah, 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 blah. I got zero leads and zero sales from SEO. SEO is a very expensive proposition for most businesses. Even Google AdWords, which can be fantastic for certain businesses, can be very expensive for others. So what I want to do as a business owner is I want to start looking for my fishing hole that has lots of fish in it, and I might try lots of different things in order to see which one is going to produce the most results. Of course, I was just fishing that hole of SEO, hoping that something would work, and it just didn't. And that's the cost of doing business. So for your business, you want to try to work with different agencies on lead generation, maybe different publications, radio, whatever it might be, to determine what lead generation system is going to be best for your company. And so the more you get involved with Accelerator's organization and meet other people in our organization, we've got some construction people, we've got HVAC people, we've got landscaping people. You can meet a lot of people to figure out what's working for them. SEO, from my experience, generally speaking, is not a very strong outlet for a small business owner. It's a minimum. And I haven't seen anybody in my network of multi-million-dollar entrepreneur business owners that have ever said that SEO costs less than $2,500 per month. And normally, when you do SEO, the company is also going to have to, even though they're going to recommend it, have to redo your entire website to make sure that it's done in a way that's purely SEO compatible in order to get you the best results for SEO. It is a very, very expensive and time-consuming process for a small business owner that's doing under $1 million in annual sales. Most of my peers say that once you get to $2.5 million of annual sales, depending on the business, that is the only time that SEO starts to be something to really take into consideration. Before that, that $2,500 or more per month should be going into other lead generation systems that can be faster and produce better results. Okay. So that's been my experience with SEO. Okay. Hope that helps. Hope you guys have a great day, morning or night, wherever you are in the world. Get in and ask some more questions. And also, if you know any other entrepreneurs who are doing less than $1 million in annual sales, get them over to me. Get me a personal introduction. We will give them 30 days at no charge to check everything out. We want to help more entrepreneurs grow to their first 7 figures of profitable income. Send them my way. I'll have a conversation, and I will be brutally honest on whether or not I think that they will be right for AO and we can deliver value for them. All right. Help us grow this organization and help more entrepreneurs struggle less and succeed more. Okay. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Thanks, Sheree. Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks, Alex. I'll talk to you guys later.